Hey everybody, welcome back. If you're new here, hi, I'm Mercury. So today is the day. Today is Hollywood Vampires concert. Yes! So I am super excited. You may or may not already know I am a huge Alice Cooper fan. Huge Alice Cooper fan. I have been seeing Alice Cooper live since I think 1996. Alice has been with me through the best of times and through the worst of times, and Alice Cooper is my rock. I have no words for what Alice Cooper means to me. And his supergroup, Hollywood Vampires. We already know how I feel about Johnny Depp. It's a brilliant thing. I'll throw a link up at the end for my video when I got to see him with Jeff Beck. And Joe Perry. So it's like a Wizard of Oz moment, getting to see them. It's sort of like, and you were there, and you were there, and you were there, right? Because it's like, Aerosmith was like the anthem of my high school. You know, it's like the Get a Grip album came out right when I was in high school. So it was like the heyday of Aerosmith. Johnny Depp, I mean, I have no words. Much like Alice, you saw me through the best of times and worst of times in different way. And then Alice. So I am very excited for tonight. I get to see them all together in one place. Yes. So I am staying up I think I'm in Monticello at Resort World Hotel and Casino. I'm staying at the Adler, which is like their boutique hotel next to it. And we're going to Woodstock. We're going to Woodstock tonight to go see the Hollywood Vampires. I am not going to be filming during the show. I may take a couple of pictures and I'll put them up when I get them. But I want to enjoy the show. I am not filming the show. There's copyright stuff in the show, so there's like a lot of reasons. But when I get back from the show, I will tell you all what I thought of it. And I can't imagine that I wouldn't enjoy it, because oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So I'm gonna head out. I'm all set. I got my hair up. I just got to get my rings on. But other than my rings, I'm ready to go. So I'm gonna head out, and then when I'm back later tonight, I'll let you all know how it goes. Oh my gosh, I'm back. Oh, it was amazing. But I'm exhausted. I'm worn out. I'm pooped. Magic of cinema editing. I'll be back and I'll tell you all about it. But for now, good night. Good morning, everybody. It is a brand new day for me, but it's just been moments for you. I'm still in awe and blown away by the show last night. It was absolutely phenomenal. So I don't know where to begin. So I guess at the beginning, right? It's like Alice in Wonderland. Start at the beginning, and when you come to the end, stop. So that is what I shall do. So I got very lucky in so many ways with being able to go to the show. Aside from having the honor and the privilege to be able to be in a situation where I was able to, go on an adventure 3 hours away to get here, the original tour date had to be postponed. Now, the original tour date was like hot on the heels of like when I went to visit my sister, and I was not able to make that tour date. Like I just couldn't coordinate. I couldn't get the pieces to fall into place to make it happen. And, unfortunately, Johnny Depp injured his foot, his ankle, and he was in like a walking boot for a little while. But, and I don't wish him any ill in any way. I don't want him to be in a walking boot. I want him to be healthy and happy. But because of that injury, the tour dates were postponed. And because the tour date was postponed, the rescheduled date fell in a moment that I was able to attend. So it's just like, things aligned for me to be able to get up here and see them. So I feel so lucky. I feel so lucky that I was able to do this. So that's number one. Number two, coffee. Coffee's number two. Coffee is number two. It's still early. I'm still, yeah. Okay, so if coffee's number 2, then number 3. The venue. I just went to Woodstock, y'all. I was just at Woodstock. So you may recall a couple of years ago, I was in the town of Woodstock, but I was never where the Woodstock concert was. I was just at Woodstock. That's amazing. My brain is trying to wrap its head around this, because that's absolutely amazing to think that I was just at this venue with giants like Janice and Jimmy, and oh my gosh, that's where I was last night. So it was the Bethel Center for Performing Arts in the Catskills. It was a wonderful, wonderful venue. All the seats were wonderful. Like, I didn't have like orchestra seating. I had the next section back, and they were great. I thought they were great seats. They have the screens on the side, so you get even better view. But even without the screens, I was able to see. It was a absolutely wonderful, wonderful venue. So the one thing I will say, and I'm so glad they sent an email about this before the show. Unfortunately, it was only the day before the show that the email went out. Their bag policy is very strict, so much stricter than other venues I've gone to. So their bag policy, I'll put a picture up, you're only allowed to use clear bags, like clear tote bags, and they have to be within certain size dimensions. So you are able to bring things into the venue. You can even bring food and like sealed bottles of water. Now, I generally travel light. It's generally wallet, cell phone, keys. Like it's the trifecta. And if I have the trifecta, then I'm good to go. The problem is, my pants don't have pockets. Many of my pants don't have pockets. Part of it is like women's pants often have no pockets or very small pockets. That's only one piece of it. The other piece of it is I very regularly wear leggings. So no pockets. So a lot of times when I go out, I have a belt with pockets. I don't call it a fanny pack because you get like a certain image in your head when you say fanny pack, and you think of that big thing with it like sticks off far, and that's not what it is. It has 2 pockets that hang off the side. It literally, it's like a belt with pockets. But it's not see-through. It's bigger than a clutch. That was the smallest item that you were allowed to bring in that was not see-through. So my belt with pockets would not have been a permitted item, which meant the pants that I was planning to wear that day, I could no longer wear. And I had to make sure I wore jeans with adequate pockets that would hold my wallet, cell phone, keys. And honestly, they didn't hold my keys. I had to find a clip that I could clip my keys to hang off a belt loop. I made it work, obviously, but their bag policy is very, very strict. So just a heads up about that. They emailed me one day before the show with a reminder about the bag policy, and it is on their website. But most people, when you're getting tickets, you look at like the information on like Ticketmaster or Live Nation or any of those kind of like ticket selling websites, and you get a lot of your information there. A lot of times people don't necessarily go to the venue website, and it was really important in this case because there was very important information on the venue website that I would have missed had they not emailed me directly. So I really appreciate that they had that email system. So that was good. So they also have an express line to enter if you did not bring a clear bag. So if you went just stuff in your pockets and nothing in a bag, they had an express line for you to get in. So there was no additional charge for parking. It was included in the cost of admission. So that was great. A lot of venues will charge an additional fee for parking. So there was no parking fee on top of it. Wonderful. There is a bit of a walk. They do have a tram if you're not able to do the walk from the parking lot to the venue. They do have a tram service, but there is a bit of a walk, and it is grassy, rocky, uneven pavement. So I would suggest closed-toed shoes or comfy walking shoes to get from your car to the venue itself. The premium parking area It seemed to all be on paved roads, and then the general parking area was on grass. That was just my observation as I was walking, because they had the signs that said this is a premium area, this is a general area. So that's just what I observed as I was going there. I don't know if that's the case at every single show, but that's what it looked like when I was there last night. Bethel Center for Performing Arts also has a few like add-ons that you can get. They have like green room access where you can get access to different food and like a private lounge area. They have memberships where if you're going to multiple shows throughout the concert season, they have like a membership. So with their different add-ons, it also affected what time you're able to enter. General admission, which is what I had, was able to enter at 7 o'clock, but they do recommend getting there a half hour early because of the walk from the parking lot up. So a lot of people heeded that warning, and the line, let me put it in here, this was the line to get in, and we were all standing here. This was at about 6:45. Before the gates opened, there were this many people lining up to get in. So this is important because I had a designated seat, but in addition to designated seats, they do have a lawn area. So if you have a lawn ticket at a venue like this, you're gonna wanna get there earlier if you want to like claim a good lawn spot. But if you have a designated seat area, you might not need to get there that early because your seat assignment is there for you. So just good to know. So once I was going along the line towards the bag check area, there was a tent for anyone who had the VIP meet and greet check-in. One day, it's very expensive to do it. It's very, very expensive, and it was sold out when I got my tickets. So it was like a twofold of like why I did not get that opportunity this time. I have met Alice Cooper before, and he is a lovely person, and amazing. But that was not in my cards today, but they did have a tent before you go through security for the VIP check-in for anyone who is doing that. And then once you get through security, the way that it's set up, it's sort of like a winding path around a grassy area. And on that grassy area, they were having like a local band playing from 7 to 8 o'clock. So the opening band for the show went on at 8 o'clock on the main stage, or the pavilion stage as it's known. And then on this other stage, they had another band playing. So the thing with that is it almost felt like a missed opportunity. There was all this lawn space. It was great. You know, it's sort of like where the green room is, a couple of vendors, like you get like beverages, before you get to the main drag of where the vendors are. So there's a lot of different vendors of like, and I'll put the picture here. There's a lot of vendors who sell different beverages, food, snacks, merchandise, both merchandise for the band and merch for the venue, because like I said, it is Woodstock, so it does have its own merch. So there's like this like alley of vendors, so to say. But before you get to that is where this other grassy area with the stage is. And, you know, people are walking by it to get to the pavilion, but nobody's really stopping to listen. Everyone's like, I gotta get to where I'm going, because they only leave an hour of time. And if you want to get a snack, if you want to get a beverage, if you want to get merch, there are lines for all these things. So there's not a lot of time to actually listen to that local band. And they were actually pretty good. I was trying to figure out where I was going, where's my seat, you know, do I need a nibbly nosh, you know, so on and so forth. So I didn't get to sit or stand and listen to the music very much. It was more just like ambiance as I was walking by. So after I get through this area of all the vendors and the food and all of that, it sort of splits and you either go left or right, odd numbers left, even numbers right. So I was section 8, so I went right. And I follow the path around, and as I'm walking, I hear someone like near me, like, you can see Joe Perry, look. And I'm like, wait, what? What is she, where am I and why can they see Joe Perry? What is happening? So, you know, I didn't go anywhere I wasn't supposed to go. Let me say that very clearly. I just was like in the vendor area. There was like a booth that had like beverages, and then right next to it was sort of the gates that lead backstage. it's totally okay to be over there because there was like a vendor right there. So I was just by that vendor booth, and like across the way, you can see the area where they were doing their meet and greets backstage. So it's like really far away. I'll put the picture up. So this is super zoomed in, super grainy, very poor quality. You can't see what's going on here, but that was the general idea, was that they were able to see Joe Perry doing the meet and greet way across the way from the appropriate side of the fence. So I thought that was interesting. I was like, am I going to see Alice? Am I going to see Johnny? Is Tommy back there? Who's back there? You know? But no, I didn't really see anybody back there when I took a peek. But, you know, people were hanging out trying to, you know, in the hopes that they would see someone. But what I did see was, as fans were exiting after their meet and greet, the level of excitement, the glow, the appreciation, and the love of this band, that is what I saw, because I could see them coming, you know, they would exit through that gate, and just the level of joy that meet and greet brought to so many people, that was worth seeing. So after that, I went and I found my seat, and here's the view from my seat. Insert picture. So like I said, I wasn't in the orchestra. It was like the first section back, and I thought the seats were pretty decent. You know, I got to see everything. I had a full view of the stage. It was great. So they did have an opening band, and they were pretty good. You know, and I enjoyed it. It was a good opening band. It gets you in the mood for the show. Something I did find interesting between sets, before the show started officially, and between the opening band and the vampires going on, they were playing a lot of David Bowie music and a lot of music from 18, which is the Johnny Depp, Jeff Beck album. They were playing a lot of songs from that album in between. So I was like, doing my little dancey dance. And then the vampires came on. And everyone went wild. It's like, and the crowd went wild. Yeah. and we did. They have, the way they have the stage set up, they have 4 panel screens behind the stage. And then Tommy Henriksen is on the right side. Joe Perry is like middle right. Alice takes center stage. Johnny is on the left side. And then Buck Johnson is sort of in between Johnny and Alice. So that's sort of like the orientation. And then Sobel on the drums is obviously behind. They all come out, and everyone's like, this is amazing. But before they come out, the screens behind them, they have like cartoony, scully, vampire-y icons of the 4 up front. So they have a Johnny Depp one, they have an Alice Cooper one, they have a Joe Perry one, and they have a Tommy one. They were so cool. And then, like, after the screens do their thing, the band comes out, and there's smoke and fog and lights, and it was so much fun. And then they come out, and they're amazing. They're amazing. They sang all the songs that I love. Rise. They had a lot of moments of tribute as they started going into some of the more, I don't want to call them somber songs, because they don't have somber songs, but they have somber meaning. So like the song My Dead Drunk Friends, before they even played that song, they did a Doors cover, and then from there they went into that, and then from there they went into Heroes, and they did a Jeff Beck tribute, and that Jeff Beck tribute just like was so overwhelming. Johnny has one of Jeff's guitars, and he like brings it out on stage. And he said that there's only one person that Jeff would want to play this guitar, and he's like his friend Joe Perry. And he passes it to Joe Perry and just takes off. It's amazing. Amazing. They were playing some of Jeff Beck's music. And that was a moment, you know, because it's really sad. I got to see Johnny and Jeff, like 7-8 months ago, and then we lost Jeff just like right after that. So, you know, it's like the band had a moment, but they let us be part of that moment, because we are part of that moment. So thank you. And they also played quite a few uplifting and fun and, you know, memorable covers, I should say. Alice played I'm 18. Joe Perry, Walk This Way, which, by the way, absolutely hilarious intro to this. On those screens in the back that I was mentioning, Young Frankenstein with Igor, and he's like, walk this way. And he like hands them a stick and he's like, this way. And then Dr. Frankenstein is like, really? And then while they're playing it on those screens, they have Monty Python when John Cleese is doing the walking silly on purpose. That's all going on in the background. So just like, I love their sense of humor around this stuff. Like, this is great. This is great. Yeah. And then, you know, obviously they did Schools Out at the end. The difference between how they do Schools Out with Hollywood Vampires versus how Alice does Schools Out when he's solo is they do a mashup of Schools Out with Another Brick in the Wall. And it works. It works so good. If you haven't heard it yet, look it up. It works. Love it. And then all these balloons, I'll throw this picture up. They put all these balloons out in the audience and they're like bopping them around, and Alice has his sword and like will pop them if they like bounce back on stage. So that's always a lot of fun. But oh, it was such a good show. It was so good. And it was also the last show on their tour. So at the end of the show, like they were lingering on stage. You can tell they did not want to go. They did not want this to end. This was just like, you know, their love child, you know? Like at the end, Alice is like, we all have to get back to our real jobs now. And I think that's really how they feel about it, because a lot of times when you're at shows, like the performers are like hyper focused on the show, and it's like, I understand why. They want it to be a great performance. And I don't think that Hollywood Vampires don't want that, because they absolutely do. But there's a relaxedness about them during the performance. Like, I've seen Alice so many times, and there was a relaxed performance about it. And I don't mean casual. I mean stress level. Like, the pressure's off. And it was different, but it still worked. It still worked. It was a little bit more playful. And I think that's what it was. And seeing all the band members just smiling and the joy, and they enjoyed being there. They enjoyed each other. They enjoyed us. They enjoyed that moment as much as we enjoyed that moment. And I gotta give my shout outs to the band. So Johnny, amazing as always. Rock on, you're an amazing guitarist. You know, I'm glad you went back to your original calling, and that we are getting the gift of listening to you play. Alice, my Alice, you saved me from so many things in life, and you've been with me through the best of times and the worst of times. I appreciate that you love this so much, and that you keep touring, and that this feels like it'll never end. Keep it up. Joe, oh my gosh, Joe, you blew my mind. The intensity and skill level that you have with the guitar, but approach it with such a casual demeanor, like, yeah, this is just what I do. You are next level. You absolutely blew my mind last night. Incredible. Your skills are off the charts. Amazing. Tommy Henriksen, you are like the unsung hero of this band. Tommy, I've seen you before in the Alice Cooper band, and I think in the past you've been a little overshadowed by Nita, and you know, Nita's amazing. I love Nita. Nita is next level as well, but you found your groove with the Vampires. You found your place with the Vampires. You are phenomenal. You're phenomenal. Your growth and evolution over the last few years, from when I started seeing you tour with Alice to now, is wonderful. It's a joy to watch. Tommy, keep it up. Keep it up. I can't wait to see you again. I'm seeing Alice tour again in the fall. Tommy, I will see you there. You guys were all amazing. All amazing. All amazing. So, I think I've rambled on enough. So I guess with that, I am done. Go listen to some Hollywood Vampires and head home. I will see you all real soon. And until then, stay inspired by everyone. Take care.